Welcome back to the channel. 1 year ago, I potted up these beautiful blue point junipers, put them in these 15-inch by 15 deep containers. They're just simple plastic containers I got from Menards. They're pretty cheap, about $12. Once I had them potted up, I left them outside of my door all winter long. I live in zone 4 outside of Minneapolis. It is very cold here. It can get 25 below, and they did just fine. I had one of the containers cracked, but it's not because not because of the container, it's because it was frozen and I went to move it and I dropped it and it shattered. So the plastic shattered, not because of the container not being strong enough, just because I was doing silly things. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift these out of the containers, look at the root systems, and repot. I'm going to put some fresh medium in there if I need to. I might shave down the sides to give it a little bit of room. If you're interested to see how this looks, stay tuned and I'll do that right now. If you're looking for a blue evergreen, blue point juniper is a great option. It's cold hardy down to 25 below. I think it'll go even to zone 3. I'm in zone 4, but what a great option. The thing about them though, they're pretty pokey. So I'm going to put my rose garden gloves on to handle them so I don't get poked. If you're looking for a great deer resistant, bunny resistant shrub, this is maybe one that you want to think about. One thing that you can notice while I'm standing here is this tree is 48 inches tall from the top of the container up, and this is 36. They were planted at the same time. The difference is when I picked this one up, I mistakenly picked it up by the top of the plant and I broke off the central leader. So you can see what happens is this decided to get a little bit more bushy. I don't know if I like it better like that or like it tall. For right now, I'm going to let it be. If I want them to be the same, I could simply trim the central leader off here or trim these sides and let them catch up. The job at hand is to repot. Let's zoom the camera in and take a look at what the root system looks like. I'm hoping this shows up on camera okay. The one pot I've got right here, this one is not broken, but I want to pull it out. Before you, oh, it came out nice. It's a little heavy. I'm doing this in a garden cart because I want the plant medium to kind of stick together. If it falls apart, I'll just do that other thing. But I'm going to lay this down. We could see that the roots are starting to swirl a little bit, but it's clearly not root bound. I can see lots of medium. So what I'm going to do is maybe break apart the bottom a little bit and put some fresh soil in the very bottom of the container. I'm just going to break this up. Now the potting mix that I used last year was 3 parts peat moss, 1 part compost, and 1 part perlite. I've got some of that same mixture available, and this container held up really good, no cracks. So I'm just going to put some new plant medium on the bottom of this one. Again, I'm grabbing the plant by the lower stem as to not break the central leader again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of this fresh medium. Again, this is peat, composted manure, and some perlite. I'm just going to put it in there. Just a little bit on the bottom, a couple inches. That's all I'm going to do. Now I'm going to put the plant back in and I'll top off, put some more fresh compost at the very top as well. It's pretty heavy because I watered it yesterday. But I do have some room around the sides, which is kind of nice. The one thing that I want to do at this time is clear some of the bottom area. I'm going to be backfilling with some soil, and I want to do some propagations. Blue point juniper all of a sudden became very expensive because one of the nurseries that had been creating these over the years stopped doing it, so the prices have skyrocketed. And I want to create some of my own for some of my landscape projects. So I'm just going to go in and cut some pieces of these lower branches off. And I am going to put it in this vat of water because I just don't have time to do it today. And maybe I can get out and do it tomorrow. But I want to get these lower branches trimmed out where I'm going to add soil back in. So nothing really goes to waste that way. I'm going to find the main stems in here, and then I'm going to just cut back where I can. Hopefully, I'll get some nice new plants. Kind of a bummer, but nurseries have to make value add decisions and what they're going to keep and what they're going to stop doing. So this is just one of those situations. Here's a nice branch, and I'll be able to take that branch and peel these individual parts off and make cuttings. But for right now, I just need to get it out of my way. Yeah, the rose gloves come in handy when handling junipers. They're just so pokey, but that's what is wonderful about them because they keep the bunny and the deer population from consuming them. I don't want to take too much off the bottom. I only want enough to take enough off where I don't want to take too much off. I only want to clear the area where the soil will touch, because I don't want them buried in soil. This is an individual branch, but maybe I will cut it back a little bit. And as we saw from the example in the beginning, if I top them a little bit, they will bush out further. But I want them to stay somewhat columnar because I want these to be framing my door, which is really nice for the holidays and the winter season. And I'll leave a little bit of room on the top, and I'll set some nice mulch on top of that. Some wood chips on top of that too. I got pine chips actually. So I'm going to put some of this in. This nice fresh compost. Kind of press it down. And it'll settle as I water it in. I'm going to kind of get it arranged, leaving a little bit of a lip so I have a place for the water to collect while it seeps down in. And then I'm using just a standard evergreen tree and shrub fertilizer. Just going to put a bunch of that in there. This is basically what I did last year, and it worked well. I should have a scoop for this, but I don't, so I'll just use my hand. All right, so that one's done, and I'll move that down, and we'll do the second one. So on the second one, we already know this pot is cracked, so I need to get this out. And see, there is a little hole that's been bothering me. I will continue to use this container to collect clippings and things like that. I don't like throwing anything out. I could patch it up with some tape and reuse it, but I'll just reuse it as a junk bin for now for clippings and such when I'm weeding. So here is the next root ball, and you can see that it's not fully root bound, so in 1 year's time it wasn't enough to consume all of the good nutrients in the soil. But even so, I've added some fresh compost potting mix to the bottom of this container. I'm going to loosen the bottom of this up a little bit. I'm simply going to repot. Here I am again. I am going to take some cuttings and limb up the bottom branches. This will also help to set buds above as well. The biggest thing is I want to get all of these little branches out of my way so I don't bury them and create a root or a rot problem. So I'll try to get them trimmed if I can. Some of them are nice sized cuttings. And then in another day or so, when I get some time, I will come through and I will pot these up into a propagation vessel. I'm going to keep all those beautiful cuttings They will be wonderful little baby plants for me. And it takes a long time to get evergreens or to get juniper to root. So it'll have all winter to do its thing. And I want to make sure I get really good contact with the potting medium. I get good contact all the way around. So I'm going to shove that soil down in there, and then it'll wash over the sides as well. And just tuck it in here and there. I can feel it going down. You can see that we've got a gap, so I got to keep filling more soil in. Use my fingers to kind of tuck it in there. And then I'm going to, again, put in a bunch of fertilizer. Should go get a scoop, but I'm just going to pour and then distribute it with my fingers here. Just move it around the root ball, the top, and that will help to fertilize it. Gorgeous. This was a great experiment for me. I wasn't sure, because I live in such a cold climate, minus 25, you know, it can be that low in the wintertime, if these would survive. Now, I had them in a sheltered location, kind of on my porch. It's open, it's not heated in any way, and against the house, which may have helped a little bit. And that's where I continue to plan on, and that's where I plan on continuing to grow these, because they make a nice winter specimen. I will continue to keep them in the containers, and my plan is to keep pruning them down almost in a bonsai form, just to maintain that they can stay in these containers. If I get tired of looking at them in that location, I can always move them, or I can actually plant them. But for right now, this is going to work just fine. I also have a ton of cuttings that I'm going to be able to do. I'm going to fill this with water and get it out of the sun and save it for a rainy day or another day when I have time to deal with it. I just don't have time right now. If this video is helpful, give us a thumbs up so YouTube knows to share this content with others. Also consider subscribing so you don't miss any of our other great videos. If you like propagation videos, check this playlist next. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great day.